Welcome to the Electric Playground. Today on the show, we use our eagle vision on the Assassin's Creed movie in the rundown.
Plus, we navigate a sea of thieves to bring you a very rare treasure.
And then Steve and Raju head to the massive world of Tamriel on the PS4 and Xbox One. Also coming up, our everyday heroes Jose and Sophia are here to rescue us. We take a look back at the awesome game Mercenaries 2 and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, bringing you the latest on everything cool every single day, and I've got something even deadlier than a hidden blade or throwing knives. It's called the Rundown. It looks like the makers of the Assassin's Creed movie are already planning their next contract. Variety reports that Ubisoft, Fox, and New Regency are developing a sequel to the upcoming big screen adaptation of the killer game franchise. The first Assassin's Creed movie won't be out until 2016, so the potential sequel is likely in the very early planning stages. This is actually very common in Hollywood. Most big-budget movies are set up as the first installment of an entire series of films, with sequels ready to be greenlit as soon as favorable box office returns come in. The fact that Assassin's Creed is already an established brand thanks to the success of the games means that the filmmakers are probably very confident that it will be a hit.
Welcome back.
And that's not the only video game that's being turned into a movie. Legendary Pictures and Contradiction Films have officially announced that they're developing a feature-length film based on the new game, Mighty No. 9. Producer Tim Carter first revealed that the film was in development on EP Live last year, and now we know that it will be a digital movie release via online platforms. Legendary and Contradiction had a similar release strategy for their last video game adaptation, Dead Rising Watchtower. The Dead Rising games and Mighty No. 9 have both been made by Keiji Inafune, and he'll be lending creative input on the new film. It's unclear if the Mighty No. 9 movie will be live action or animated, but we'll keep you up to date on the latest. The game arrives September 15th. Video game movies are a thing, people. Here to talk about that with me today is Marissa Roberto.
Hi.
What do you think? Are you enthused by the studio's kind of idea that Assassin's Creed is going to be successful enough to warrant a sequel?
I can't believe that already. I mean, I suppose we should believe it because there's so many Assassin's Creed sequels when it comes to our video game world.
Do you think they'll have one every year? As an Assassin's Creed movie every year?
Victor Lucas. Probably, yes. If we can be honest,
If the accountants could have their way, right?
One every year.
Yeah.
Maybe one every other year probably would be more realistic.
Yes.
But
yeah, in many senses of the word, that would be much more realistic. All right, now this one seems a little bit more down to earth because we know Tim Carter. He's been on the show before. Mighty No. 9 as a digital movie. With Legendary makes a lot of sense, right?
I really like the connection here, and
Yes.
I love Tim Carter. He's so fantastic, and he really does put all of his heart into these projects.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this one. This one's going to be something.
Well, the thing that's great about Tim is that he gravitates between movies and games. He worked on the Sleeping Dogs video game, wrote the script for that. So he's got a real understanding of how TV shows and movies and video games can all kind of work together.
And I'm kind of envious the way he jumps between worlds
Yes.
like this, and then his worlds collide in such a special way.
Well, he has to hustle. That guy works really, really hard. But that's what's
I
exciting.
hustle.
You do, I know. But that's what's exciting about this is that he saw an opportunity with Mighty No. 9, which is not even out yet. We don't even know how good the game is going to be. Although I played a little bit of it at E3 and I was blown away. It was absolutely beautiful. Yes, it's a 2D Mega Man type game, but it just was so effortlessly wonderful to play, and the animation is gorgeous, and the characters are cool.
Go to sleep.
All right, well, right now we've got to jump into some more of our E3 coverage. Scott caught up with the GM of Rare for a look at Rare Replay and Sea of Thieves.
You never forget your first game. And the more of them you play, the more of them you love.
I'm here with Craig Duncan. He is the studio head at Rare. I can't believe that I'm talking to you. I'm such a fan of Rare, as we all are. Craig, obviously, there's a nice tie-in here between Xbox One, Microsoft, and Rare again. Tell me about that tie-in.
Yeah, I mean, we had a massive briefing. I was privileged to be out on stage and announcing 2 new games from Rare. One Rare Replay and the other one Sea of Thieves, our brand new IP. We set this plan out almost a year ago and we said, hey, E3 next year is going to be Rare's 30th anniversary, and we want to celebrate that and do a collection of Rare games for Rare fans. So 30 years, 30 games, and we're selling it for $30 as well, which is crazy. tons and tons of extra features, developer diaries, interviews, everything about gaming that you would just want to experience in 30 years of Rare's legacy is all in the pack we call Rare Replay. And we think it's just a fantastic story to show up and say, here's Rare's legacy, here's 30 years of what the studio's been about, and also here's a brand new IP called Sea of Thieves.
So let's talk a little bit more about Sea of Thieves. I saw it during the press conference, and everybody was very excited. New Rare game, first Rare game in a very long time, but there wasn't a lot of information there. Mostly we saw some boats, we saw some water, and where's the story? Where are the characters?
There's a ton of information in that trailer if you go back and watch it, and I think, as I said in the briefing, really ambitious game. We're not talking too much about it now. This was a first tease. We really wanted to show people what Rare was working on. And think of it as a treasure hunt. And we've kind of given everyone the first clue to the Sea of Thieves treasure hunt. The trailer is all gameplay. It's all in engine. Every player character, every pirate in the trailer was controlled by someone using a controller. And I'd encourage people to go back and watch it. I mean, we're super excited about the project. We're really keen to hear what everyone thinks. And I think when people go back and watch the trailer again, it tells you a lot about what the game is without us telling you a lot about what the game is.
I noticed that when we look back over the history of Rare, Rare's had lots of special moments. Rare's been able to endure everything, and it's nice to see Rare coming back. Explain the endurance of Rare. Explain, why are we still all so connected to all these games, all these worlds, all these characters?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, Rare creates surprising and delightful games. And if you look at Rare, and the great thing when we put this collection together, and we've had a ton of fun making it, is everything Rare's done has been different. And Rare's always evolved and it's always redefined itself throughout that whole 30-year period. And that's why Rare's still there. But something that's consistent to all of it is they create magical gameplay experiences. So you go play a Rare game, like it feels honed and polished and cared for. And that doesn't matter which game it is, doesn't matter which era it is. That perfection and that sense of mastery in everything we do. And it also reflects the team at Rare. Everything Rare makes reflects the people that make it. And that's what makes us special as a studio.
Nice stuff, Mr. Jones. I am really looking forward to playing that Rare Replay disc.
Of course you are, Victor Lucas. That's a lot of games.
A lot of games.
Don't go anywhere because after the break, Jose and Sophia have got some firefighters for us. Welcome back to EP Daily. Hey, Scott Jones, what did you want to be when you were growing up?
Well, choice number 1, concert pianist. Choice number 2, firefighter. Not because I'm really good at fighting fires, but because I thought it might be fun to be on that calendar. You know what I mean? Look at this. Look at this. Check it out. Hot dogs are on sale, ladies.
Okay, well, somebody passed the mustard. Guess what, Scott Jones? They also have firefighters in San Francisco. So let's join Sophia and Jose because they've got a review of Rescue 2 Everyday Heroes.
Setting up.
Welcome to Belvizia. Sophia and I are the new fire chiefs here in town, and we are Everyday Heroes because we've been playing Rescue 2 Everyday Heroes on the old PC. Sophia, what did you think of Everyday Heroes?
Living in California, something is always on fire at any given time, so I really respect firefighters and what they do for us. So playing a simulation, I think the core concept, I like the idea of a strategic simulation game, but what this game kind of lacked was, it was repetitive. It's like a puzzle.
Sure.
You have fires burning, it's like, all right, you can figure out what do I need to put it out, what kind of tools I need, who do I need to show up. But eventually you start fighting the same fires at the same hot dog stand.
Which is weird. Haven't these guys learned, I just put this fire out earlier.
5 minutes ago, and it's on fire again. So seriously, somebody needs to get on that. It just lacked a lot of precision as well. I was trying to click on certain things, it just wouldn't let me click, and you'd have to be very specific. I think the hitbox detection is really off.
Yeah.
And my guys would wander into the most bizarre corners. Like I'm telling him to climb down from the ladder, he climbs into this other room and just like stands there in a corner, losing oxygen.
And
like,
dying,
what are you doing?
Right? And you're
Yeah.
like, come on, let's go. Clearly, this is what I want you to do. I do like the fact that, you know, if you see a fire, you put it out. If it's an electrical fire, you don't use water. You got to turn the power off before you get crazy.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Use your fire or your extinguishers. But they make it so complicated to just go, like, there's a fire. Okay.
Yeah, it's so
What do
much micromanaging
Connect
is the
this.
issue.
Connect this, plug
drop
this in
but
here.
You can only hold one thing at a time.
Right, 'cause-
So then if one person's carrying that box, they can't do this. So when your crew gets a little bit bigger, I usually try to have them like all grab a different item so you can be a little bit more efficient.
Right.
But it does get a little bit better as you start unlocking new fire engines.
Sure, yeah.
New
Better
tools.
crew.
Yeah, for the longest time I was doing missions where you need a floater pump. Didn't have one.
Yeah.
So I'd show up like, oh, there's no water. I'm screwed. So
Anyone?
anyone? Yeah, no heads up. I mean, the tutorials did a really good job in terms of getting you started, but as you're making your way through the game, unlocking stuff, there are a few things that could have had a heads up. Maybe.
Yeah, and it sucks because, you know, people get pissed off at you because you're not reacting fast enough. You're not saving things fast enough. I mean, I saved one guy as a paramedic. I felt good about it.
Yeah.
Felt solid. Felt like my work was done. Turns out somebody in his family named a hamster after me. I was excited by that.
But you notice that happens quite a bit. It starts getting repetitive.
There's so many hamsters named after me in the world of Belvizia. So all in all, I mean, it was cool to be a firefighter and a paramedic. Thankfully, because I couldn't do it in the real world, so now I get the privilege of doing it in a video game. I don't think I'll go back to Rescue 2 Everyday Heroes and attempt to want to be a firefighter and a paramedic anymore, because just like in real life, I don't have what it takes to play in the video game world as well. What are you going to give Rescue 2?
I'm going to give it a 4.0.
I'm giving it a 3. Sorry, it's not for me.
Thanks, Jose and Sophia. And by the way, attention all fire departments out there. I am available for your hot dog calendars.
Okay, give him a call. Don't go anywhere because after the break, Steve and Raju had the Tamriel edition of the Elder Scrolls Online.
You could probably add this to my long pile of buried treasures where I talk about pandemic-developed games. They were one of my favorite game studios. This was Mercenaries 2 World in Flames. While not as good and definitely not as groundbreaking as the first Mercenaries, this was still an undeniably fun game. There are lots of little bugs. There are lots of little problems in here as well. But if you are jonesing for Just Cause 3, which is coming out a little later this year, this might satiate you for a little while. Get the Xbox 360 version. Hopefully this will be playable on the Xbox One pretty soon.
You'll need to destroy that gate. Fortunately, Solana's provided us with air support.
Open world, you play a mercenary that sort of monkeys around with a bunch of warring factions. And in this personal quest to get some payback for somebody that betrayed you in the previous game. This is solidly developed, even though there are some problems. It was one of those games, though, that Pandemic did where they built this huge open world environment for you to create lots of chaos while they were doing that at the same time with other games, with Lord of the Rings and Star Wars Battlefront. And they had too much going on at the same time, and ultimately undid the studio. Rest in peace, Pandemic. This was a lot of fun. Mercenaries 2, definitely a buried treasure.
Well played on that buried treasure, my friend. You dug up another great one. Moving on now to Steve and Raju. They are in Toronto, and the Elder Scrolls Online has come to the home console. So how does it fare? Here's the answer.
Last year, you and I dove into the world of Elder Scrolls with Elder Scrolls Online on the PC. Today, we are firing up our PS4s and going back to Tamriel with Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Unlimited. This is the PS4 version of the MMO. And you know, sometimes MMOs don't work super well on the console. What did you think of Elder Scrolls Online and how it plays on the PS4?
Well, first off, this is a very overwhelming game, but you know, it was a nice place to visit once again. It's a big friggin' world, and the other thing too is like just, you know, there's so many things you're used to with MMOs and the fact that they are on PCs, and then when you get to consoles, it's a different thing. I mean, I think one of the big things here is that they've ditched the subscription now, so
Just buy the game and you're good to go.
it's a much better deal now than it used to be. I have to say, off the top, I was kind of impressed with how it looks.
For an MMO, you always expect a little bit of kind of graphical simplicity in an MMO, but it still had that Elder Scrolls sense of awe you get being in the world.
Yeah, so I like that about it. But my problem with this game is in the Elder Scrolls games, there's such amazing solo experiences, and now it's this somewhat interesting solo experience with crowds everywhere doing exactly what you're doing. You know, like, it's like, oh, kill that guy, and 5 other guys are trying to kill that guy. Oh, go talk to that guy. 5 other guys are all around.
Greetings, Milksop.
We did not do the deepest dive in the world this game, but people are around all the time, which just shatters any illusion of immersion.
I mean, you got a console crowd involved here now, which is good. And I like the fact the game handles really well with the PS4 controller. They've done a good job of mapping your abilities and your skills to the controller. You can choose what you want to be activated by the different face buttons. You can choose a range of items and emotes and things to map to the D-pad. That's all good. I mean, it's a pretty good job of bringing what is a keyboard-heavy game to the controller. One of the definite downsides I found with this game is because so many people use headsets and mics, the PS4, whenever you're in the world, you're in an open chat channel. So I'd be like, go along on my horse, like, dude, wow, it's like the world's amazing. I feel so immersed in the world of Elder Scrolls. And then I get to like some merchant, and then there's some guy going, he's like playing like rap or something like that. I'm like, oh my God, I hate everyone else in this game.
Red diamond, protect us till the end.
I immediately muted all the player chat, which takes that whole, like, why are you playing an MMO if you don't want to interact with anybody? And there's no real way other than sending like really quick pre-canned chat messages. There's no way to type to people. You've got to talk or really nothing at all.
But the problem here is that what we're complaining about is you know, other people. like we're not really complaining about the game.
No,
it's just jerks.
It's the. I mean, they're not even jerks. There was one time I'm on the beach, the pirate camp, and there's a lot of pirates around. This guy, level 41 dude, as a werewolf, I didn't know you could do that in this game, literally pouncing around the beach, killing pirates. I'm like, all right, that clears the way for me. That's cool.
But then there's the other problem that I have with it. You better have a rock-solid internet connection. Obviously, this is a MMO, so there are patches, they are fixing things, there are buggy things, expect to find them. But I was just shocked at how crappy I found my internet connection to be because I was dropping out a lot. And so I definitely had some issues playing a game and just sort of dropping out here and there. I mean, at times, you know, sailing along, it was perfectly fine. But, you know, that is one of these things you have to have for this game to work, which is a pain.
It's opening up. This is bad. This is very bad.
If you're playing an MMO, you know all the MMO stuff. You know that you're going to be with other people. You know there's going to be that level of kind of non-immersion when there's like 10 guys dancing around, you know, the monsters supposed to be killing. The upside of that is you get help too. There were bosses that I were taking on that were a little too strong, or I'd be in trouble. I'd be running away, being pursued by 3 people, and all of a sudden 5 dudes would swoop in out of nowhere, way higher level than me, and kill all these guys who are chasing me. I'm like, thanks, dudes. And I'd wave, a little wave emote. I'd play my lute. I love the Elder Scrolls. I love the mythology. It was fun to get back into this world, but I just don't think MMOs are necessarily for me. You know, I just think I really want to just go into an adventure at my own pace, be the main character in this world, and not share it. I'm not good at sharing it. I do not play well with others. The game itself is really good.
The game itself is quite good. And it looks really well and runs really well. Like I said, I had some issues. The internet connection, that's on me, not on them. I think it is a good introduction if you are not a PC gamer.
That's true. I think it's a good way to get people who have maybe never played an MMO into the MMO world with the familiarity of the controller, the familiarity of the PS4. It is really good at that. I mean, yeah, the knocks were giving, and there's other people who probably have really great experiences with strangers and or are the people who go in and help the newbies like us. So the game itself, it plays really well on the PS4, it looks good on the PS4, the controller stuff works really well on the PS4. I would turn off the chat stuff right away so I don't get annoyed by
And I like the fact that the subscription stuff is gone.
Yeah.
So no, that's one of those things that I hate.
The game itself is actually really fun. They've done a great job of putting it on the PS4. I'm going to give Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Unlimited an 8 out of 10.
7.5 for me.
Great job, Stephen, Raju. And for the record, I'm personally waiting for the Apple Watch version of the Elder Scrolls Online. And listen, we've got a Twitter question of the day for you after this.
If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. Welcome back to Electric Playground. It is time for our Twitter question of the day. This one is from Chris Matthews. He's at ChrisMa 13020177.
I think he's messing with you.
I think 76 must have been taken, because look at that unbelievable username. That's incredible. Okay, any advice for not getting shot on any of the online Call of Duty Black Ops games? Oh, that's not a serious question either. You have to get shot.
Any advice? Wow. Well, what I like to do is hide.
Yeah.
So that
You're camping.
Well, sometimes
you always get shot when you're camping.
Yeah, it's true. You can't even. You get shot all the time.
So you hide, but don't shoot anybody?
Well,
So you just hide.
You just have to
Just hide and don't do anything.
You just have to hide
and
and
then
not
you
do
get
anything.
0 kills.
Just
There you
zero.
go.
But it's like zeros across the board, though.
Yeah, 0 deaths,
At
0
least-
kills.
exactly.
Just hide. Just hide in a little ball and don't shoot anybody and put up a peace symbol every
No,
once
you
in a
know
while.
what? Someone's still gonna find you. So good luck with that.
Yeah, we have no advice for you, Chris Matthews. You're going to get shot. But remember, if you want to ask us a question, a real one, or get caught up on anything, including full episodes of the show, go to epn.tv.
We got more coming for you in the next episode of EP Daily, including a look at Ant-Man.
Yeah, thanks for
Love
watching.
that. Bye.
EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox. EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Asphalt 8 Airborne, which you can play on your Android or iOS device for free right now.
You should be able to shrink and grow on a dime, so your size always suits your needs. Now dive through the keyhole, Scott. You charge big, you dive small, then you emerge big.
When the movie starts, there's something that's happening at Pym Tech, which is Hank Pym's old company that he's been chucked out of. And it's now being run by Darren Cross, and Darren has developed his own form of Pym particle, the Cross particle. And he's developed this technology and this suit on his own. He's always heard about the legend of Ant-Man, and even though he's never been told by Hank outright, he's decided to pursue it. And Hank doesn't want that in the world. He has sat on this technology and he's kept it from everyone because it doesn't even matter if it gets into the wrong hands. If it gets into anybody's hands, it's just chaos.